Welcome back to the channel. Today we have something different, and for that we're outdoors. And I want to introduce to you the Aniioki A9 Pro Max. This is a huge e-bike. But before we get to testing and reviewing this bike, we need to put it together. It came mainly assembled, but in a second package we have the front wheel and a bunch of accessories. So we need to first take out the supporting brace from the fork, remove the nuts on the side of the front wheel, and then slide it into place and install it on the fork, after which we screw the nuts back on the threaded piece to lock the wheel in. We then move to installing the front brakes. This is a pretty easy process. You just need to remove the two retaining screws from the mounting bracket, position the brakes in place, and then tighten the screws back in, making sure the caliper is in the middle of the disc brake so the pads don't rub while you're riding. Following up, we had to tighten the distribution front brake block to the front of the bike. And then we put some air in the fork with a portable compressor, because yes, this fork is air powered. Then we proceed to aligning the brake levers, so everything is nice and comfortable. After which we get to bleeding the brakes. This is really easy because we have mineral oil reservoirs on top, so we just pump the brakes a few times until we stop seeing bubbles coming out of the system. After bleeding the brakes, I proceeded to install the rear carrying bracket, on which you can actually install bags or a basket to just help you carry stuff with this bike, but also a rear seat. As you can see, it has multiple mounting holes, so it's going to be very helpful. Also, installing this was super easy, only 4 bolts, which were already pre-installed in the holes, so you know where they go. Lastly, I installed the turn signals, and then moved on to the final piece, which was the seat. So this bike does everything to the max. As you can see, it has dual front disc brakes, each with 6 pistons, just like a motorbike. These discs are actually 300mm in diameter, which is extremely huge. I don't really know how to explain the scale of this. It's a very, very big bike. As you can see, with fat tires for off-road terrain and a lot of damping. The rims are aluminum dual wall, so they're going to be sturdy. The fork is actually extremely thick, and for the damping system it actually uses compressed air in a cylinder right here. And we also have compression adjustment on the right. The brakes, as I mentioned, are hydraulic, and you have a reservoir here with mineral oil. The front one actually actuates the 2 front brakes and part of the rear caliper, so it has a balancer on it. You have a full suite of signals from hazard lights. There's also a motorcycle style front light with low beam and high beam. We of course have turn signals and a very loud horn, so people know you're coming. The battery is actually massive. This is the length, and it actually goes all the way down in the frame, so this is a big heavy battery. As you can see, it's the 60 volt model. Here is the charging port, big and beefy, with this waterproof flap. The seat is very big and accommodating, and it's also pretty cushiony, so you're gonna have a comfortable ride. Speaking of comfortable rides, we have dual rear shocks for suspension. As you can see right here, this is where the electronic speed controller, or the ESC, lives. We have metal pedals with reflective strips, and of course a kickstand. On the other side, right next to the pedals, we have a huge chainring, and this is actually necessary because it's going to help you achieve higher speeds, but also kickstart the bike. A very big and long chain brings us to the rear sprockets and the Shimano Tourney rear derailleur. Both on the rear and on the front, we have reflective elements for when you ride in the night. And on the back we have a rear luggage carrying space with mounting holes so you can attach side bags or a rear seat. So the rear light also works when you apply brakes, as you can see here, but it also has the side indicators for when you need to turn. So the motors on this e-bike are actually 2,500 watts each, with a combined total peak power of 6,000 watts, and powered by the 70 amp hour battery. This gives you a very powerful and actually long-lasting ride. The tires, as I mentioned, are 4.8-inch fat tires, and they have this reflective strip here, which is again very useful during the night. So the rear brakes are the same as the front ones, 6 piston per version for a lot of stopping power, and they're very responsive and again very powerful. So in order to turn on the bike, first we need to power on the battery from this switch right here. Then on the remote we double press the power button, which in turn powers on the bike. And as you can see, the screen comes on, and on the display we have a reading for speed in kilometers per hour, of course. Then on the right side we have the assist level, which goes up to level 5, with specific colors for each level, so you can easily tell which mode you're on. Then on top we have a counter for how long this session is taking, the odometer on the bike on the bottom to see how many kilometers it actually traveled its whole life, and then a trip meter telling you how many kilometers in this trip. Also, this small indicator on the right side tells you if you're in front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. In our case, it's both wheels powering the bike, so all-wheel drive. On top left, it's probably hard to see, but there's a small recording indicator, because this display actually has a camera in the front that can record all your trips into the internal SD card. Also, on the bottom left, we have a fuel gauge, basically telling you how much battery you have left. Right now it's 4 out of 5 bars, so we're perfectly good to go. So apart from the electrics aspect of this bike, you can actually just use it as a regular bike, just pedaling. And for that, we have a 7-speed gearbox. And you can actually cycle through all the gears from this gear shifter right here. And it can not only just work by pedaling or using fully electric, this bike can also do pedal assist, of course, and that's managed by this sensor right here. It's gonna tell when you're trying to pedal, and it's gonna bring in the pedal assist for you, so you can do less effort and travel further. Speaking of which, let's do some test riding, shall we? Obviously, we're doing this test on a private road, because in the specific country we're in, this type of e-bike is a little bit illegal, given the really powerful motors that it's equipped with. But this is a great test because this is a more off-road, bumpy scenario where we can properly test the suspension and the bike comfort. And also, we have some uphill. So let's book it and see how it does. Okay, navigating all of this is super easy for the bike, given the fat tires and the really nice suspension. And again, the pedal assist kicks in really nicely. Actually a little bit too much, but that's because I have it set on level 5. So let me turn around. One thing that I find a bit difficult is tight turns with this bike, because it's so heavy. It's over 70 kilograms, but that also means it has a lot of mass, so it can absorb all the bumps in the road and make it more stable. And let's do a little bit of downhill now. Let's check the brakes. And the brakes work really good. They can almost bring you to a stop if you want. And that's really nice. Pedal assist, yay, let's go! Let's change the assist mode a bit lower. Let's go level 2 and see how the pedal assist does. So I'm pedaling right now. And now with the assist on level 2, the acceleration is much more tame, so you can modulate it really nice if you want to go slower or actually faster. So right now I'm pedaling full force and I have no problem going uphill and actually also controlling the bike. It's not going faster than I want. But If you wanna go a bit more fast, we increase the assist level and it goes faster. Yeah! What I also appreciate is that the pedal assist doesn't kick in right away when you start pedaling, so you're not gonna be surprised by it. It takes 1 or 2 seconds, so you have time to anticipate it and deal with it. Now, on the bottom of this hill, there's a steeper hill that I want to try and conquer with this bike, so I'm gonna set it to assist level 3. Position myself, and let's see how it deals with this. And it went up that hill no problem.
After doing the test on the hill, I decided this bike can handle much more. Even though it's not specifically designed for extreme off-road use, I wanted to see how the bike does on this little dirt mound, and as you can see, it handled it without issues.
And now one of my colleagues actually is on the bike, and he seems to be enjoying it very much. It took almost no time for him to get the hang of it. Look at him go. How's the bike?
It's really great. It's very fast. But it has good brakes, it has nice suspension, and a really sturdy frame.
So you like it, huh? Conveniently, Aniioki also included a helmet. I put on some gloves, and I'm gonna do some more riding. Let's go! And now let's also do a brake test. And it can stop. Something really smart that Aniioki did is they actually integrated a switch into the brake lever. So the bike obviously knows when you pull the brake to actually turn on the lights. But not only that, if you're trying to give it throttle, but the brake is actually engaged, it's not gonna do anything. It's smart enough to know not to give power when you're actually trying to actively stop. Very smart. Another thing that I really appreciate is the fact that you can connect your phone via Bluetooth to the bike's controller. So you can actually play music on the integrated 3-watt speakers into the display. And also, this display, as I mentioned earlier, actively records your riding sessions. And I want to overlay some of that footage now so you see how it actually looks.
Unfortunately, I didn't realize that the cables were not really managed in front of the camera, so we don't get a full view, but enough for you to get an idea.
Another smart thing that I really appreciate that's integrated into much more expensive bikes and forks is this little O-ring right here, which actually will move depending on how much of the fork's travel you actually used, so you know if you need to put more air in it or if it's actually good. And another smart thing is the bump stops here in the fork that will prevent it from accidentally hitting the frame.
So while my colleague takes the bike for a ride again, because he enjoyed it so much, let me read you some specs from the website. The top speed of this bike is 75 km per hour. The range, if you actually use pedal assist, is between 170 and 380 kilometers. And if you only use the electric mode, it goes between 130 to 145 kilometers of range. The total weight limit for the bike is 500 pounds or around 300 kilos, and it has 3 modes for throttle, pedal assist or cruise control. The motors, as I mentioned, are 2500 watts each. They produce 125 Newton meters of torque. The maximum climbing degree angle is between 30 and 50 degrees. The battery on my model is 70 amp hours with a charge time between 8 and 12 hours with the included quick charger. Battery lifespan would be 3000 charge cycles from 80% capacity to empty. The rotors, as I mentioned, are 300mm in diameter, and the version with 70 amp hours of battery weighs 85.4 kilograms. Pretty hefty. While I didn't say this in the intro, the manual included with the bike was really helpful in putting it together, showing you the steps that you need to take what tools to use, and where each part goes. Very helpful.
So we reached the end of the video, and I guess it's time for some conclusions. While this bike is not really cheap by any means, it has a lot of great features that I really would like to see in an electric bike. From the very big and powerful battery, lasting for a very long while and giving you plenty of power. The two huge motors with total 6,000 watts peak power output, which are going to be plenty for any kind of uphill or downhill riding. The brakes are something that are really important on something that can go really fast, like this bike. And we have plenty of brakes. Again, one 6-spot caliper in the back and dual 6-spot calipers in the front, each with 300mm disc brakes diameter. The assist levels are really easy to set up, and depending on how much assist you prefer, you can actually drop it down to level 1 or 2, and that's going to make the throttle very easy to modulate, give you a very linear response curve, so you're not going to be surprised by the sudden input of torque. I really appreciate having dedicated high beam and low beams, turn signals, and again, the loud horn. This is perfectly good to use on any kind of road, as long as the local law allows it. And with the big trunk space, you can actually carry some stuff. You can take this to grocery runs if you attach here a basket or a trunk. The kickstand is nice and sturdy because, again, this bike is really heavy, so the kickstand has to do a good work to actually keep it on. The rear suspensions, while adjustable, were perfectly fine from the factory. I didn't need to actually fiddle with them. And again, if the local law allows this, this is a great electric bike. It was a lot of fun riding it, and I have no doubt that it can actually reach the manufacturer's claim in terms of mileage, so you can have a lot of fun riding this. If you like the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. Why not subscribe to the channel for more tech videos like this one, and I'll see you next time.